Hey, what's going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking all about raid simming. Now, I think some people may have jumped the gun a bit early, especially when it was first implemented, because they were not getting much enjoyment or much luck out of using it for Doom Raid 2, especially for those of you in like the 2.3 category, which is, you know, a bit tough to use it. But I'm actually having a lot of, I don't want to say fun, but I'm actually, I'm gaining a lot of time back as a result of this. And so I want to go over, what I'm doing in my raids and, talk about, what obviously there's some places that need improvement. But I think as a result, I've been able to claim back, probably at least 30 to 40 minutes a day, which has actually resulted in me being able to start up a second baby account. So if you didn't check out that video, which was released on Thursday, then do check that out as well. But yeah, I've had plenty of time now to do more things, and that feels great. So I want to talk about all of that and exactly what I'm doing and how I'm able to do it in this video. So if you're ready to go, then let's boil this down. And I want to start here in the roster window, and I want to go over, because this is super important. I can say that, I raid sim all day long, but I need to show, what I'm using so that you guys have an understanding. And I should have said this probably in the intro, is that, there is a bit of a disclaimer that, yes, I am a veteran player. I have a fairly beefy roster, and so this may not work for everyone. I do want to say that I do run Doom Raid 2.2. not Doom Raid 2.3. So what works for me might not work for players in Doom 2.3. What doesn't work for me in 2.2 might work for people in Doom 2.0 or even Doom 1. It's been a long time since I've ran Doom 1, and so I don't know, like what the thresholds there are. And I think this will eventually lead into some sort of infographic, either by myself or by someone else. If we have some player-driven data that people can submit, to tell us what works and what doesn't in different raids, I think that would be very helpful. So maybe that's something that either I need to start up or something that someone else needs to start up, because I think that going forward into the future, knowing like how you can, what high power you need in order to successfully sim a section of a raid, I think will be really important information. But so my astonishing X-Men here are 800k. This is my Doom Raid 2 mutant lane characters. I have about 9, I know, because a lot of these are tier 16 characters. 950k pretty much skill, with 4 of them being tier 16. So, I'm not saying that this is for everyone, and you can see this with some of the T16 characters, but 909k for tech, 830k for bio, and 830 for mystic. Now, a lot of these characters are probably characters that most of you are running anyways, whether it's Doom 1 or Doom 2, because frankly, these are pretty much the best characters that you can use for the Doom Raid section. We have Web Warriors, we have Astonishing X-Men, unfortunately, are a bit, it's a matter of time, I think, before they get replaced. I'm kind of still hoping on that mutant raid team around the corner. And then, even for skill, at least in Doom 2, I find that even Secret Avengers, they're not stable enough as far as the simming goes to be able to clear that. And we'll talk about that. And so let's jump over to my raids. Now, I think my Doom 2 raids are just about to finish. So this kind of gives you an idea. And I'll go through my, personal strategy, what I do when it comes to Doom 2 raid simming. Oh, and by the way, actually, before we get started on this, it is absolutely great for Greek raids. You get 12 raid sims for Greek raid. I might even be able to do one just now just to show it off. But yeah, I haven't manualed anything since this started, which is great. So I guess I'm going to go this way probably. And I've just been using my Mystic raid team that I would use for Doom Raid. And here we go. You could do up to 12 sims in Greek raid. And to be honest, that's pretty much everything. I don't think that you really need more than that. I think I normally do anywhere from 9 to 10, unless your alliance mates aren't really pushing. So, yes, this is truly amazing for the Greek raids. I will never have to do this now. It doesn't save you it does save you a bit of time, because I would say my Greek raid autos are anywhere from a minute and a half to 2, which might not sound like a lot, but then there's also the loading times in between each screen, and so that kind of cuts off there because you don't have to go through the loading anymore. And I would still say that this probably shaves off a good 20 minutes at least from Greek raids every single day. So that alone, really helps. But then we need to talk about, of course, the Doom Raid 2. And so I want to go over what I do and what you can do and what you shouldn't do. So I'm on the left side. Let's zoom out a bit. So we're at the end of the raid now because this is about to end soon. And I go on the left side. Now, I used to be on the right, which is a little bit more challenging because it starts with Mutant. And I think that this is where it's going to be tough to sim. So we're going to talk about the left side. Then I'm going to go over to the right because I think it's going to be a different way that you approach raid simming for this and what you can and can't do. So we start off with bio here on the left, and for that, you can, if you have a high enough web warriors, you can entirely sim through this. So the person who did the boss node on my side was Sparty. He told me that he basically simmed the first 3 nodes, and it was no problem, and he cleared it. Now, I've been told by other people that the boss can be a bit shifty sometimes, that, you know, the second node can be shifty. This probably depends on your power level. So, again, you saw what mine was, and I'm able to full clear sim every single node in bio, and I haven't lost yet. And I forget, you know, scroll back for the specific number. I forget what the power was now, but, you know, I'm able to do it. Are you going to be able to do it, you know, fully 100%? I don't know. And so my guess is there's probably some sort of AI threshold there that, you know, if you have your characters up to a certain degree, that you should be able to win this all the way through. And I've had similar experiences with my other Alliance members. They said they've been able to do it above, I believe, 800k plus, that they've been able to do it every single time. And that's great. And, you know, they weren't super hard to begin with Web Warriors, but, you know, it does clear, even just bio alone, you know, that's probably saving you a good 8 minutes on that lane there, depending on if you do 2 or 3 nodes. So that's helpful. Now, the second lane on the left is skill. This is really, I've been doing this off and on, you know, since the raid sim starts, and it's tricky. I personally wouldn't recommend it because it sets your characters up for weird cooldowns. If I have actually cleared skill 1 and skill 2 with my current team, and I did win, but there's been times where I haven't. So it's very sketchy that I'm not sure you'd want to. The only times you might want to try that is if somebody's already cleared the boss node and therefore you don't have to do that. So normally the team that you saw that on my skill Doom Raid skill, that's what I've used for node 1. Often what I do with node 2 is I bring in Baron Zemo instead of Shang-Chi, because I think he's really helpful for putting on that disrupt for the shield security and ability blocking Silver Surfer here on this node. That being said, personally wouldn't recommend simming, and maybe in the near future, you know, if we get level 90, maybe that, you know, surpasses the threshold and we're able to do that. Maybe another character will come out to make this a little bit easier. But as it sits right now, at least at 2.2, I think it's a bit sketchy. Let me know in the comments down below if you've had better luck in maybe in 2.0, 2.1 than I have. But, you know, at 2.2 and above, I think it's a bit sketchy. For Mystic, we're at Tech next. Probably also wouldn't personally recommend simming much here. However, I have had limited success using the sim. So I have actually been able to use the team that I showcased off in the beginning, and I have been able to clear node 1. Now, of course, that leaves me with pretty weird cooldowns because I went back into manual on node 2, and it was not good, which led me to a wipe. So I think the only instance where you would probably want to use simming in tech would be if there's multiple of you running in one lane. I know that some people, depending on their raid strategies, they don't actually do a 3-person lane. They just do like two of the 3 lanes for tech, or even 1 just to get your way through tech. So if that's the case, you might be able to sim your way through that to the end. Tech will be a bit sketchy because I don't think defensively they're as strong, and you're very cooldown reliant to be able to kill the Doom Raid tech boss. So I don't think sim is probably recommended here. But for the first 2 nodes, if you're using multiple players to get through 1 lane, this is highly possible that you could probably do it this way. Otherwise, I'd be very careful about it. Now for Mystic, super easy. If you, at least for me, if you have new warriors and Eternals, you can blast through nodes 1 and 2. Okay. There has been some instances where I have lost members of my new warriors on node 2, but in node 1 it's normally fine. Most likely it's the way that the ability cooldowns landed on node 2, and so I've had cases where only my Eternals survive. But normally what I do is, because Darkhold is so meta, bring in your Darkholds for the boss node, guarantee clear. I can guarantee you that Darkhold will clear on auto sim the Mystic boss, and so normally I would just do my regular team for 1 and 2 and bring in Darkhold for the boss node. No problem there. Clear that. And so, you know, even though it didn't take too long to begin with, that's still like 6 to 8 minutes cleared off of that. So 6 to 8 minutes shaved off of that, you know, 8 to 10 minutes shaved off of bio. You know, that's 15 minutes daily at least that I've been able to clear off of my schedule. And you can see here that I also managed to get node 1 of Mutant mutant done. So mutant's the final lane of the left-hand side. Yes, I simmed this. Is it a good idea? No, not if you're going to go further. So for me, it was a case of that, you know, because I'm refreshing my energy, as you can see right here in the corner. And I'm waiting until the next raid. And so I wanted to do one extra node, and it didn't really matter what my cooldowns were going into node number 2. And so for that reason, I decided to sim it. And it's pretty successful, I think, on the first node. I don't think at least for my team, for the amount of team power I have for my Astonishing X-Men, I've never wiped on node 1. And basically what this means is that you're doing that. You're not going to be going to node 2, but that's an extra node that you can get cleared for your alliance if you want to, if you need to, or whatever, to push you towards 60%. Because really, at the end of the day, this is what it's designed for Doom 2 anyways, is to get you to that 60% threshold, or help you get that and do it with less screen time. It's not designed for 100% type players. That's why you would manual that if you really cared. So that's my experiences here on the left. I want to talk about what I'd probably do on the right, though. Because of what you just heard me say about Mutant, I would not recommend simming on the right, because you actually have to get through this entire section in order to be able to, you know, get onto the other lanes, whereas it's the first lane, not the last lane. But you go from Mutant to, if I'm not mistaken, it's Mystic here. So that, again, very easy. Like I said, you should be able to sim through the entire thing, and then you get to Tech, which again is a little bit of a struggle. Then you'll make your way up to Skill, also a little bit of trouble. You could do it, and then you finally end in Bio, where you could sim through the entire thing. So it's kind of a different mechanic here on the right versus the left. I feel like there's probably less simmable nodes that you're able to use on the right-hand side of the raid, if that's you, than the left. I feel like there's more simmable nodes on the left-hand side because of where they're situated than on the right. So I've been able to get some good luck out of it, but maybe some people haven't. And again, it's very power-based. So I feel like somebody needs to come up with an infographic with some player inputted data about what works and what doesn't on the different difficulties in the different modes, you know, Doom 1, for example, and things like that. And I hope that, you know, going forward that people do. Now, I want to end off the video and talk about this Reddit post here, because this is what some people have been talking about a little bit. I don't know if there's going to be any updates. This was as of recording this video, which isn't going to be when it's released. 5 days ago from recording, and Cerebro made this post. The dev team has heard player feedback regarding the new Raid Sim feature. We are currently reviewing the feedback and investigating the feature itself to ensure that it is functioning as intended. We will update you when the investigations and discussions have concluded, likely next week, which is actually, as of recording this, next week, but this is midweek. We appreciate your patience in the interim. So this, to me, says two things. Is it functioning as intended, or is it going to get better? And if it's going to get better, how does it get better? Like, I'm just not sure, because a lot of the simming features are kind of based around auto gameplay. And so I'm not sure what they would have to adjust in order to make it better. That would be cool if they do, because then maybe we could sim a little bit more than we are now, which I am already getting away with a fair bit. Anywhere from 5 to 7 nodes, I think, on Doom Raid 2. And if that happens to improve more of that, then great. Although it does cap out at 8, I think. You can only sim 8 nodes anyways. So we'll have to see whether or not that actually changes. There's a lot of comments on this post. I'm not going to go through all of it. But yeah, I'm kind of interested to see if it does change at all, or if this was just smoke. Blowing smoke. I was going to say something else, but that's just what came to my head. And so, yeah, you know, I'm having some good fun. It's cutting out like 40 minutes of my day between Doom Raid and Beta Raid. Currently Beta Raid. We'll see if this changes in Gamma, because we know that Gamma's kind of a load of crap, and so we'll see if they raid sim better than, or worse than Beta does. But yeah, you know, it's really helped me quite a bit, and honestly, I think that people have kind of blown it out of the water a little bit. I think that the first initial videos, and this is why I didn't make a video on it right away, because a lot of people were just saying it was crap, that you couldn't do anything, and I think that, you know, that's not true. I think that if you're smart about where and when you decide to use it, especially in the harder raids, like your main raids, I think that you can get away with using it and clearing up some time out of your schedule. But, you know, feel free to let me know in the comments down below if your experiences are different than mine. You know, I'd love to hear back from people who have done Ultima 7.5, Doom Raid 1, you know, these kind of other raids that aren't Doom Raid 2. I know a lot that the endgame players do Doom 2.2, 2.3, this kind of thing. And so I'd love to hear back from, you know, average type of players as well, and your experiences from using it yourself. Just so, you know, I have an idea of what other people are getting out of this. So that's the end of my video, and until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.